Hmm.
Oh well, so I was telling you about this the Scottish guy.
Yes,
Um,
go on. Yeah,
so
I want to know the story how you got to Scotland, but before that, I want to ask about Venezuela as well. But tell me about the Scottish
all
guy.
right, okay,
Let me hear about the
okay.
Scottish guy.
Well, he gave some master classes in my town and the concert and blah blah blah. And basically, my teacher spoke to him about the possibility of me studying abroad, and he said that it was a possibility because he's a teacher at the Royal Conservatory of Scotland, and they offer scholarships to students from everywhere. So I was I had 2 years left to graduate from the
Mm-hmm.
technical school. So
Mm-hmm.
it was we were talking about it, and basically I passed the audition, I got the scholarship, and it took me a while to pass the English test, but I actually passed the English test eventually. And that's how I ended up coming. So a random guy who came to Venezuela from Scotland and met me and met my teacher, and then everything happened. Sounds easy. It wasn't easy at all. I mean, a lot of economical issues and
Well, yeah,
I
that's the
mean,
story I
etc.
remembered. I was
etc.
gonna
So
ask you about because I
yeah,
know there's a very fascinating tale of how you made your journey from Venezuela to Scotland. But before that,
yeah.
I want to hear about I want to hear about life in Venezuela, man, because it's not like we know a lot about it. I don't know a
Okay,
lot about it. I
ask.
know a couple of people. I know it's a bit hectic, but let's focus on the good stuff.
Yeah.
Like what was it like growing up? I want to hear, like growing up in Venezuela. What's that like?
Well, when I grew up, it was still a normal country. Um, so
Like a
everything was
functioning
okay.
country.
Functioning country. Yeah, good. That's a good way. I don't want to get into,
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
mean, details. I think everybody knows what the Venezuela situation is. But I was lucky that I mean, my family was middle class, could afford everything. I had a normal childhood, again, full of music. I
Mm.
always went to. Sorry, can you hear the?
I can
Can
hear
you hear some
something.
noise in the back?
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. It's because well, there is noise around me. Um,
it's all right.
but yeah, so basically, I was going to choir. I mean, I was going to school like any other child, and I was going to music school after school. So basically, primary school. Maybe I don't. Maybe it can be new information, but primary school in Venezuela is mostly, because there are some exemptions. It's from 7 a.m. in the morning to 12 in at noon. So you go to school
We're the
very
same.
early, blah blah blah. Yeah, okay, there you go.
Yeah,
Because in
let me think.
Italy
Hang
it's
on,
not the
because
same.
it was a mix. You either had the morning. I think there was some years when we went later. We had to like 10 or 12. I think you come back home later, but
Mm,
most of the time you'd go in the morning. You'd go in the morning and you come home
okay.
by like late afternoon at
Mm,
most.
oh, okay. Well, there are
Early,
two
not late, early
actually.
afternoon.
It's like there are two options. So one is if you study in the morning from 7 to 12, and then there is another one from 1 to 4 or to 5. I don't remember. But
Mm.
there is always some people say like, oh, you study in the morning because if you study in the morning, you were like a better student, and then the ones that study in the afternoon were not so good. But this is just something between children. I mean, there is
Yeah,
nothing
well, you need a reason to make
nothing
fun of
true.
each other. You need a reason to be like, nah,
Yeah.
nah, 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 nah.
Exactly. Yeah, there was like a fight between like the AM and the PM. So anyway, um, but yeah, so going to school and then you would get home, and then in the afternoon I had some music lessons, like sometimes the guitar lessons, sometimes
Mm.
just the music theory, and then usually, as I said, I belong to a choir, and
Mm-hmm.
the rehearsals were in the night. So there were rehearsals from 7 to 9 p.m. And my parents were amazing because they would just, I mean, my dad always had a car, so he would take me and pick me up all the time. So imagine how many, and the rehearsals, the choir rehearsals were like every night. So from Monday to Friday. And he
Okay.
would take me and pick me up until I was like 18 years old. So
Okay. Well,
yeah,
that's
my
having
my
supportive
older
parents, isn't it?
my older brother as well. because he always says you always forget to mention me. But it's like, yeah, my older brother also drove me everywhere. But yeah,
Oh, oh, bless him. He's like, what about
poor
me?
them,
Listen, whenever
poor
you win an
them.
award, you have to like thank him specifically as well. I would like to thank my parents and my older brother.
Yeah, totally, totally. They were amazing. And as again,
That's
like I
good.
was always participating. I was always going to concerts because I started to play guitar when I was 6 years old, and I could play that. I could actually play the guitar. So
Mm,
my guitar teacher would take me everywhere. I mean, would take me is that he would invite me, and then my parents would take me.
mm.
So which means going from my state to another state, and because I had to perform something, so they were very supportive, and it was a lot of fun. I went basically like most of the places that I visited in Venezuela is because of music. It's because I was doing something there. So it's been amazing. I
So
went to
you
guitar
got to
festivals
travel
in
and see.
Venezuela.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
yeah, yeah. Mostly because, as I said, my guitar teacher was always pushing me and motivating me, and
So
he
you
was
were like
always
the wonder
getting me.
child of your class, is what you're saying.
Kinda. I
So
used to be
so
very.
we're talking to like a young guitar genius, just to
Uh,
put that out there to the world.
I'm not gonna call that myself, but you can say it. That's okay.
Go ahead. I'm not gonna. Silas, please go ahead. I'm not gonna stand in the
Sorry,
way.
I'm not gonna deny it. No,
I love it.
no. Like, I mean, I'm serious. I was a very good student. Like in primary
And
school, I
what
was always
happened?
getting
Did it all just fall
the.
apart? What?
It just reality happens. Adulthood. It's like paying bills and being a human being, a functioning human being, is harder than you think.
Tell me about it.
Yeah. But I used to be. I always think about it, and I'm like, how did I do that? Like, obviously, I just have to worry about studying. Who? I mean, what? But I was always getting like the best grades, and I was always studying a lot, seriously. And I was a perfectionist. I was. I don't know. I was always very obedient. Like everything that my parents would say, I would be like, yeah. So that's why also they were very supportive. So because I was always good. I was always behaving in the best way that I could, getting the best grades, and being normal. Because I wasn't a nerd. Sorry, nerds are normal too. I didn't mean that. But
All
it's
right,
not like
Mrs.
I was.
I go around with the guitar and whatever. Let's calm down a little bit. Hey, I used to be a nerd. Nothing wrong with being a nerd, but there's a difference between nerd and the general. It's like prison. There's the general population, and you got the lifers. That's what the nerds are in school. Like
Yeah.
you got the groups. We
I
all know.
I
You got
was
this.
I wasn't a typical introverted. I was actually totally the opposite. I
You
mean, I
were
was
what?
always I wasn't a typical introverted. I mean, there is this connection between when someone is a very good student, then he has to be very shy and very quiet. And I don't know. I don't know. There is that connection,
I
and
mean,
also sometimes there is a connection saying like, oh, I mean, she likes to be the best, and she only does it because of the appearance and blah blah blah. So there's
I
those
mean, we
two.
all
I
had.
wasn't.
I think we all had in high school. We all had our little like we had the psychoanalysis of like everyone was an archetype. You got the hot girl that's popular and the hot guy that's popular
Yeah.
and probably very stupid, and then you've got the sports people, and then you had like the nerds, and then you had
Yeah. But
the
have you
weirdos, and
ever
you had like
have you ever actually lived that reality? Because I think it's something that you see in movies, but
mm,
no one. I
well,
mean, no one is never like that.
no, it's an
You,
exaggeration. Realistically, people, they don't come in archetypes. The people are a bit more complex than that. It's just the
a
thing. I
lot
think
more.
it's more like in high school because we're all busy and because you got studies to do. You only get to see
Mhm.
certain parts of people. You don't get to see them at home. You don't get to see them outside. With your friends, you know them a bit better. You get to see different facets of them. But if my only
But
interact,
you spend most of your time with them. It's like most of your social life is going to school.
but yeah, but even then, like I'd like basically I don't know, like I had a couple of bullies in my high school, and then it was like what blew
Mm.
my mind, right? So these two guys, they were like neighboring class. They were a bit of jokes, you know. Every now and again, they would like find a way to like bully people and push, like push their weight around a little bit. But then at the end of high school, I remember the final party, and this guy was crying that high school's over, and I'm like, you're fucking crying, you dick. I was thinking to myself, like, you literally, like, you went around just bullying people, and now you're crying that, oh my god, I had such a great time with my classmates, and I'm so emotional, it's over, and I'm like, whew. I mean, I had, no, he wasn't fake, he was genuinely crying, like, he was genuinely emotional. So it was a different aspect to him, you know? And I think that's why, yeah, those archetypes, like, there's some truth to them. There's people that, you know, certain behaviors you'll see regularly because that's all you see, but they're not like a standard, you know, box that you can just
yeah. There's not they are not just one thing. It's like because usually you see it in movies. It's like, oh yeah, the nerd is a nerd, and that's it. It's like no.
Well,
I mean, you have a little bit of everything. No, it's like
yeah,
you can be. I mean, you are a little bit of a nerd, a little bit of a I don't know, extroverted. I don't know.
And you can be a nerd about something, like, you know, when that one topic that you're into comes up, you're like, oh my god, let me tell you what I know. And then, you know, something else, you're like, whatever.
Did you like high school? Like, how were you when you were? Who were you when you were in high school?
For me, high school was a bit weird because I mean, I don't want to go into my psychoanalysis, but overall, I did enjoy it. A lot of my early years was there was this massive gap, which I now realize I had like basically very low self-esteem, almost minimum, just because I was raised by Jehovah's Witnesses, right? So I came from a very sort of different background compared to other kids from high school. And yeah, so overall, I enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun, I think. Thinking back now, there's a lot of things I wish I mean, I just wish I'd known better about myself. I'd been a bit more at ease with myself because I spent a lot of years just trying to be very people pleasing, you know. And I think that I guess it's a little bit of a regret. I was like, I wish I had known better, you know. But you don't get to pick where you start from in life, you know. So overall, I had fun. It was high school. I was definitely one of those kids that he was trying to sort of. I was the class clown a little bit. I was studying fairly well, but I was also trying to like fit in, and I just couldn't find it because in the end I found out that I need to fit in with myself. I
see.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's a different experience for every kid, for every teenager.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's such a defined time for everybody because it's like. You want to have friends, you want to look and be like your friends, and you're in a search, no? Trying to find who you are, who you want to be.
Yeah. Just to let you know, we're probably gonna have to take a break in about a few seconds. But just so you're aware, if it cuts off, that's what happens.
I know it takes a bit to save and to download the things. So,
exactly.
Well, for me, like I was a typical. I was extremely excited when the classes were going to start. I would prepare my backpack and everything, my uniform. I mean, yeah.
And we're back in. Way off to a good start.
Oh, hello.
So, hello. Oh, hang on. Is the internet doing the thing again? We're back. Say something.
I think it just takes a little bit to get used to. Hello.
Yeah, I think you're all right. I think it's just whenever we start, the internet kind of goes a bit weird, but then we're good. We left off with you explaining to us how you were basically Dora the Explorer with your little backpack and excitement and going to school and thirst for knowledge. That's we were.
No, I even have the haircut.
The ponytail. Let's go.
Yeah. You know, I actually know the songs by Spanish, but I'm not gonna sing them.
Fair enough. I did not. I'd actually never seen Dora the Explorer, so that was.
I have a little brother that is not little anymore, but he used to watch it, so I used to watch it with him.
It would be funnier if he was still watching it, but it's okay.
Yeah. Anyway. So yeah, I was always I don't know. I would say I lived in a very privileged way. I don't know. I mean,
Well,
I
this
was
is like
always just
Venezuelan privilege. Keep that in mind as well.
was possible back then.
Yeah, but no, what I
So,
mean is like, when you say privilege, like consider your context, because like if I say, you can be
well,
privilege is
well,
different in different countries.
but I was when I was a child. I mean, actually, when until I was maybe 16, 17,
Hmm.
everything was okay. I mean, how like what you would call okay, um, in that
Ah,
time.
lady, I'm from Eastern Europe. I don't know what my okay is compared to your okay.
Well, it was okay, or it was a
All right.
general okay everywhere. Okay, let's say that.
Okay.
Well, well, in most places, and in most of the developed places. Okay, that's very complicated,
I got
but
it. Okay. Okay. We're on
but
the right track.
it was a normal life. It was what you would watch in a movie. I mean, a normal middle class family that was very supportive, very good. As again, I had a normal childhood, happy childhood,
Good.
even happier
Good.
because I was always involved in arts. So I was always surrounded by amazing people, and I don't know, I always say like I feel super lucky and blessed that I had the childhood and the education that I had in all the sense. I mean, education at school, musical education, etc. So I was always doing something. I always remember, now, like, to tell you a little bit my experience, because I can't speak for anybody else. I was always doing something. So I was either practicing guitar because I needed to, choir rehearsals. I was always learning. Like, my mom was always enrolling me in little courses. Like, I used to do a lot of crafts stuff, like things. I mean, to do stuff with foam. I mean, no, what was it called? Foam? No. Uh, foamy. But what's the name in English? Oh, I don't
There's not
remember.
foam?
Maybe it's foam, but is whatever. Anyway, one of those things. I learning to paint something. I actually did a poetry course at some point. So I was always busy.
Okay.
And my little brother, who is much younger than me, he would always say like she's always doing something. Like, she's never has any free time to do anything else. And my mom wanted to enroll him on music lessons, to study some instruments he could choose. And he didn't want, because he said, then when I grow up, I have to be busy all the time. He's like, I don't want to do that. I just want to play with my animals. And he's like, that's it. So it was very clear.
He
And
had a plan in life. He had a goal, and he was adamant about it. And you know what? I respect
yeah,
that in a
he had
child.
the reference. He's like, I don't want to be like that because I was always busy. And he's like that. Can you take me to this rehearsal? That, can you take me here? Can you pick me up there? Blah blah blah. So yeah, that was basically me, and I was happy. I mean, it's because I wanted to do it as well. It's not
Yeah,
because
yeah,
my
yeah, yeah, yeah.
mom would. It's because I enjoyed it. I was happy to. So
Mm.
I learned to do a lot of things when I was young, and I had the time to do it. So that's good. And then reality hit me.
Okay. And how did reality
But
hit you, darling?
no, I mean, no.
I
When I
keep
came
realizing I
to,
shout a lot because you see I'm listening to you in the headphones, and for some reason I only hear you in this one. So I'm thinking I need to talk louder for people to hear me. And I just
no,
literally,
I hear you well.
I know, and I just saw the clip because it just exported, and I'm literally shouting like some grandpa, like, "How are you? Good to see you."
Oh
Like,
my.
I just
Oh,
become conscious. I need to talk a bit quieter. I don't need to shout that much, you know.
okay. Okay. I do the same. I think I speak quiet, but I don't. So
No, but
yeah.
we can hear you clearly. But me, because I had both of these on, and it's it kind of how the sound
Okay.
becomes a bit stuck in your head. You're like, "Wah, hear me roar."
It's okay. It's okay. Even if you're short, it's okay. It's totally fine.
Okay, well, I'm glad
But
you respect your elders. That's very kind of you.
yes, my parents taught me well. So, but like, to speak a little bit about life in Venezuela.
Mm.
Back then,
Back then.
Only back then. Back then.
We back home in Romania, we say when something's bad, listen, it's not even worth talking about. You know, it's not even worth talking about.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the thing is that I think I left right on time, right before things got actually much worse. All my family is in Minnesota, so I know how things are. But many
Are they
people would
okay,
say,
by the way?
I know, yeah, they are. They are. Thank you.
Okay, good.
And many people would say, no, you're exaggerating. Like things are not that bad. But I mean, it depends on the
Well,
realities. It depends
well,
how they live the situation. Huh?
what I've seen, it's
I
not
was.
that great.
Some people would say it's not that bad, but again, as I'm saying, everybody has a different reality. Oh, are you okay? I can see you.
Yeah, I'm okay.
It's not moving.
Yeah, I can hear you clearly. Is she back? She's gone. Oh no. Hello? Right, she's back.
Hello.
Cool. I'm
Hello.
just gonna cut. I'm just
Yeah.
gonna cut this bit out of us going like,
Okay.
hi.
Yeah, exactly.
So for the record, the bits that's missing is us going, huh?
Hello, hello, hello. Yeah, yeah. So as I'm saying, is everybody live the situation in a different way. So the reality is different for everybody.
Yeah, I mean, every
But
country has different, classes and things like that, economically
totally,
speaking, and
totally.
yeah.
But for sure, I mean, everything that I lived when I was young, how I lived it, it's just not possible. At least not as easy. No, the education part, not the musical part. But for example, going to these places and being able to move around easily, and oh, I'm gonna pay for this course, I'm gonna pay for that. Like priorities are not those. I mean, you cannot afford to do all of that stuff. At least not in the same way. Not as easy as I did it, for example. And that's, I would say, the part that I suffered the most right before coming here was the transportation. It just doesn't work. So it was hard for me to get to Caracas to assist to my English course, and because transport was just a mess. It just doesn't work. Seriously, it was very, very stressful. Something that simple like going somewhere, and it's hard. So
I mean, yeah, I think
yes,
the lacking infrastructure is always a clear symbol that there's something wrong. It's the same. I mean, it's the same. Like I come from Romania, as I mentioned, fairly regularly, and we have our problems. The classic 40-minute wait on a train. That was during my teenage years, anyway. So
yeah. So yeah, but as you said, there's no waste time getting into.